Would you like to experience unexpected joy in your life? If so, you are in the right place because today on Sacred Stories, we're speaking with Lynn Reilly, the author of the new book, 30 Days to Me, a working book to living a serendipitous life. You can find this Sacred Stories podcast and a whole bunch of other phenomenal shows on our website, sacredstoriesmedia.com, and on iTunes, look for the Sacred Stories show. So today, as I said, we're speaking with Lynn Reilly, and she has this tremendous new book out called 30 Days to Me, a working book to living a serendipitous life. So welcome, Lynn, to our show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, Patricia.
Well, I'm excited you're here because, full disclosure, Sacred Stories Publishing has published 30 Days to Me, and we're super excited about the book and the whole concept of living serendipitously that you are bringing to the world.
Yeah, I love this concept and I love this book. I feel really positive about it because it's a book that absolutely helped me as I was developing it. And as I'm sharing it more, it feels exciting to be able to put that out in the world and help people reconnect to their joy.
Yeah, so serendipitous, that is such a great word, serendipity. Share what serendipity means in general, and then share what it means to you, please.
Well, serendipity really is discovering the unexpected joy in things. And so living serendipitously is the way that I see it is really living in the flow and allowing the unexpected joy to come to your awareness and be a part of your life. So you can see that life is really designed for you and in your favor in all of your experiences.
So you know what I love about living life serendipitously is because I feel that so many people, myself included, many times we're looking for joy. We're trying to find the joy in things. And what you're saying is when you can show up and live life serendipitously, you find the joy in unexpected places and things, right?
Correct. It's already there. So you're talking about looking for joy. What I'm saying is it's already there. It's unexpected, but we begin to practice noticing it. It's like, oh my gosh, there it is. It's been there all along.
Yeah, so wow. So let's just take all that pressure off of us, everybody listening, right? Because everybody has, feels this need to feel more joyful. We're told we need to feel joyful. Just like we're told we're supposed to be grateful, we're told we need to feel joyful. So lots of pressure. And what you're saying is it's there all along and it's just a matter of really noticing it, right? In the unexpected ways it can show up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I absolutely love that. And so let's talk a little bit though, and I'd like you to share your sacred story because I would imagine that in your story, you haven't always lived life serendipitously.
No, no, I have not. Absolutely. I actually was not living life serendipitously. And when this sort of all developed, I was in a major funk and I couldn't figure out why I felt so crappy. I was in the middle of making these big, scary changes in my life, and I was following my heart and my intuition, and I still felt awful. I thought, well, this is the path to bringing me joy, but I wasn't actually feeling it at all. I shouldn't say at all, but I wasn't feeling it as frequently as I felt like I should be. And I couldn't figure out what I was missing. And that's what sort of led me to sitting in a puddle of myself. And remember sitting on my front porch and just in complete self-pity and begging for answers. And I heard this voice in my head, my own intuition say, you're missing you. You're missing your joy. You're missing your connection. You're missing your commitment to yourself. And that's really how this whole process started.
I so appreciate you sharing that because I know that so many people can relate because even when we have the courage to make those big scary changes, even when we know we're following our heart, right, it still doesn't necessarily make us feel better or feel joyful. And then we go, what the heck? What the heck is going on? I thought I was following my heart. I made all these changes. I had all this courage. Why am I not feeling better? And then we get stuck.
Exactly. And that's where I was. I was stuck. And I was looking for answers and just waiting for them to come to me. But, I'm human and impatient and I want it now. I wanted it yesterday. Where is my joy? And what I was missing was that I actually had it. I could do it. It was a choice of bringing it into my life. I was waiting for it to come to me as opposed to taking the step towards it. And that's where I began, and in that process, I began as the day one of the book of creating a list of what do I like? What brings me joy? What makes me happy? And then kind of stepping back and saying, man, these are some pretty simple things. Why am I not doing this? I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about the book, because the book, 30 Days to Me, a working book to living a serendipitous life, is really, it's not a book, it's not a journal, it's kind of both. It's really designed, I think, differently than other ones that we've seen. And that's why the idea of a working book came up, right? Because it's
Right.
all of it. So share a little bit about how the 30 Days to Me book is constructed. What can people expect when they open this beautiful book?
Well, it's as mentioned before, it's this 30-day process, and it starts with sort of an overview of my experience, of my feeling like a disgusting puddle of myself and disconnected, and an understanding what that feels like and what got me started. And then it begins with day one, which is making a joy list of what brings you joy, and talks about my piece of it, and then we talk about your piece of it. What brings you joy? You creating the list. And in each following day is very similar. Day two talks about another topic and talks about my experience with the topic, and then we talk about your experience with the topic. And some of them are activities where you're doing things that either bring you joy or ways to connect to yourself. And some of them are dig deep questions, journaling questions. And there are spaces in the book to talk about how you feel and what you think about these topics, and the way that you think and you do, sort of those patterns of thoughts, and gives you the space to add those in.
So you can write directly in the book. It has been designed that way, with all these beautiful lines for your thoughts. And you can also write in your own journal and not write in the book, right? And maybe do the process, have it an ongoing process. Have you noticed that, well, first of all, have you done the process more than one time? And have you noticed any changes in your life or in your process doing it the second?
Completely. It was important to me to have a space in the book. So I know for me, I'll make any excuse to sort of avoid stuff that makes me uncomfortable. So I liked having the being able to write in the book, to be able to just do it right then and there, no excuses. But I also know that for me, every time I do the process, and I have done it more than once, several times, and I enjoy it in such a different way each time, because as I evolve, my answers evolve, my lists evolve, the way that I connect to myself also continues to change. So it does. It's a process that can be repeated. It's a guidebook to connect to yourself or reconnect to yourself. And it would be awesome if we did it once and say, oh my gosh, I'm connected. This is it. But life doesn't always allow us to do that. So there are those times that we feel connected and we're on a roll, and then something happens and we feel disconnected again, and we've got to revisit that. So it definitely allows the opportunity to do that.
So you bring up the concept of excuses, right? And so I think one of the biggest excuses that I know myself and many people use is, I don't have time for me because I'm taking care of my kids, I'm taking care of my husband, I have a job, we have all these other to-dos that we're doing. So what do you say to that?
I think that is the most common excuse that I hear. And I'm a licensed professional counselor. And in my practice, and we talk about this a lot, people will come in and say, I'm ready for change, sort of tell me what to do. And when we talk about doing things for themselves, their eyes roll and they say, I can't do that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for me. Exactly. And that's exactly why you are where you are. But once you begin to commit to yourself and to commit to what feels good, what you begin to notice is that you feel more connected to yourself. You feel more alive. You feel more fulfilled. And what that does is it allows you more space to help the ones you love, to be there for the ones you love, to show up. And it also lets them look at you as you're modeling that behavior, that this is what you do to feel good, so that they're inspired to do the same.
So Lynn, you're a mom, you're a single mom, right? And you have 2 children. So what was your children's response when you started saying or doing for yourself? Were they like, Mom, like seriously, like what about us? Or did you, what happened? I mean, it's real life, right? Real life, single mom, 2 kids. I think they're in middle school, right? Your children? I mean, still at the age that they.
Yep, I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. And what they saw was me feeling pretty crappy, and that felt awful for them because they were kind of watching me like, is she okay? And asking me, what do you need? And so they spent some time worrying about me when they knew that I was off. And so when I started this process, they're used to me doing all kinds of interesting experiments with myself. And I said, all right, guys, I'm committing to me and I'm going to prioritize myself. And it wasn't about me not living my life and avoiding everything else to just do for me. It was incorporating it into my everyday life. What can I do that brings me joy that's part of living? Not stop living to live for me, but to make it a part of my life. And so as I did that, my mood changed. I felt happier. I listened to them more. I was more open for them. And I distinctly remember at the end of the 30 days when I can't remember which kid it was, but one of them looked at me and said, Mom, you should do that all over again. You are so happy. This is awesome to see. So they loved it.
See, and you know what? And so not that anyone needs permission ever. That's another thing that I think people need to realize is they don't need my permission, your permission, their children's permission, or spouses, anything. Nobody needs permission to take time for themselves, right? To be true to themselves. However, having said that, if you were on the fence, if you're listening and you're on the fence a little bit about, how would people react if I started doing more for myself to help myself feel better, I would have to agree with you, Lynn, that people would be very surprised at how well received, that this is.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I was driving my daughter to school, my high schooler, and I was depleted from the work week, and I was drained, and she knew it, and I was cranky. And I said to her, I promise I'm not going to be cranky forever. And she said, Mom, you really need to do something for you today. And I thought, there we are. She's got it. She understands. I was so happy to hear her say that. I said, you're right. Absolutely. I'm on it.
And you mentioned modeling before. Really, what a beautiful model to provide for your children, so that they can grow up and do it a little bit differently maybe than we did, to really value themselves more than maybe we have growing up.
Yep, actually, absolutely. I think it's so important to teach our kids and the people that we love why it's important to take care of ourselves. One, so we don't have to worry about them as much and take care of them so they can take care of themselves. And 2, because it feels good just to see people happy. And when you're doing things that you love, you're much happier. It's really just as simple as that.
And this is for guys too. It seems like this would be a woman's process, right? I mean, the women feel into how they're feeling and so forth. But guys are very much don't show up and do anything for themselves. They very much are the caretaker, the provider, and, they have to provide for their family. And many, many men don't take the time for themselves either. And how beautiful would it be for men to go through this process?
Oh, absolutely. And I've watched men go through this process, and you're right, because it's really just those sort of internal belief systems and what our roles are and what our expectations of what we think we're supposed to be doing or not supposed to be doing. And like the fun part for me is I love when people tell me what's on their joy list, because it's so diverse, and it even gives me ideas of, oh, I want to try that. I want to do that too. And typically a man's list is very different than a woman's list, but it doesn't make a difference. The way that they light up just talking about things that bring them joy is exactly the same.
Well, it's so funny because you ask them to write 30 things down, right? And I have to say that I think most people would be very hard pressed because we're so disconnected with ourselves and bringing ourselves joy or doing things that, that are joyful to us. For most people to be able to write down 30 things that bring them joy. I mean, I think that's a challenge right now. I think that would be just so wonderful, even without someone necessarily maybe buying the book or doing the full process, even though we strongly encourage that, to even just say, can I write down 30 things? Like everyone listening, just say, can I just write 30 things down that bring you joy? I think that will be a huge eye-opener to how disconnected
Absolutely.
we are, right?
Completely. And it's interesting watching other people go through this process. I can recall distinctly that a teenager that I had, and when she had started to write her list down, she flew through it. She flew through it because she is younger, because her expectations are a bit different than as you get older and you feel like all of these things that you should be doing. She was so much closer and understood what brought her joy than someone who was older and who either had a family or a job that took away a lot of time, at least in their minds, of what they could do. So it's really very, very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So each day is different. But each day is modeled after you give your story or your insights. You invite the reader to do theirs. You have an exercise or a question or a practice or a process, right? That really to help them dive deep into it. And
Right.
so share one of the days. Share one of the days that either is one of your favorites or you just feel is really meaningful.
Well, I think if I look at serendipity and pulling out the meaningfulness of our lives, that our lives are designed for us, one of my favorite days is day 25, which is choosing a painful memory that we have, something that happened to you in the past, and looking at what it does to you in the now, in the present, how has it blocked you over time in terms of decisions that you've made, and then really looking at shifting the perspective and seeing, what did you learn from it? What did you take from something that felt so painful? What were the good things that came out of it? Because I think it's important to look at our past and use that as a tool in order to support us in the here and now and how we want to move forward in a really positive way.
I love that. I love that. What about one that is a process? Is a process that um, the first day is the joy list, right? And then that one is a painful memory. Share a third. Share a third.
Okay. One of the days that's a really great activity, which I still repetitively do, it's one of my favorites, would be day 27, and that's planning a date day. That is planning a full day from start to finish. That's all about you and what it is that you want to be doing, from what you eat for breakfast to where you want to be middle of the day, whether it's sitting by yourself at home and kicking everybody out, or taking a drive and wandering to some place that you really love to be, but just having the entire day be focused on you and reconnecting with you and what you want. I love that day.
So everyone listening that just went, oh, there's no way I can take a date day and a whole day for me. That's impossible. She's crazy, right? So the collective
Yep.
the collective gasp just went up, right? But having said that, notice it's day 27. So also speak to the organization of the days. Like you've worked up to day 27. This isn't day 2. You're not jumping, from the fire into the frying pan, or some frying pan into the fire, whatever that is. You're being prepared for this. This is a process, right? So speak to kind of the overall organization of the days, because by day 27, you're ready. You're ready for the ability to be able to commit to time just for you.
Yeah, because on day 27, the commitment is starting from day 1 to prioritize yourself, to do things that feel good, and to see the good that's already happening, and that you can start to let go of some of the worry of, if I don't do this, then this won't happen. By, day 14, 15, you're starting to see like, wow, I don't have to worry about this as much because these things are just happening anyway. I don't have to worry about them. And as you connect with you, it feels good. So you almost become addicted to it, like waking up and saying, oh, what am I going to do for me today? It becomes exciting. It's like a holiday, like it's my birthday. Like, what do I get to do for me? It's such a fun and cool process. By day 27, you build up to that of game on. Let's go. Let's go do something even more for me, because I've really practiced recognizing that this really is what it's all about, feeling good and how that benefits me and everything else in my life.
It really is, and I think that's what I love about 30 Days to Me. That's what I love about the work that you're doing. That's what I love about living a serendipitous life, is exactly that, is it is joyful. It is the unexpected joy. It is fun. I mean, you're doing deep work, right? But it's really wrapped in this fun process that you have put together, and that you really are just a beautiful facilitator of.
Yeah, thank you. The connecting with joy just complements the process of, it doesn't have to be so painful and so agonizing to look at self and judge and say, why am I keep doing this? Well, you are, but here's your opportunity to change it up. And while you're changing it up, you might as well enjoy the ride.
I have to say, I really, really appreciate it, because I've been, like many people, doing my work, right, for a long time. And sometimes it can feel exhausting. It could be like, seriously, this again, I'm doing this again. And in many days I'll say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not even dealing with it. I'm not even going there, because I don't have the energy to even go back through that anymore. I'm not diving deep into that again. And so the idea that, yes, we're still diving deep. Yes, we're still really uncovering, but we can do it within this larger container of something that is joyful, is thank God, right? Thank the heavens.
Exactly. Who doesn't need that? And also one of the things I like about this book is it's designed to guide you back to yourself, but it also meets you where you are. It's not telling you where you should be. It's letting you guide yourself by your own desires and your needs.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you do that, because you don't tell anybody you should do this. You basically share you invite them to explore themselves, and then you offer practices and processes that help them. And you are a licensed professional counselor. So it's not like you're just pulling this out of your hat. You also have expertise and personal experience in these processes. So Lynn Reilly, author of 30 Days to Me, a working book to living a serendipitous life. Tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me on my website, which is livingwithserendipity.com, and you can email me from there. You can also connect with me on Facebook and on Instagram, and those are easy ways to kind of follow my work and sign up for my newsletter. And as things come up with podcasts and more, I do a lot of blogs that I share around the web that I like to keep expanding on these ideas and watching them grow.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning the podcast. Lynn also has a new podcast on Sacred Stories called Living Serendipitously, and you can find it on Sacred Stories Media, right where you're finding this podcast. You can also find it on iTunes and the Sacred Stories show. So Living Serendipitously is the podcast. Livingwithserendipity.com is the website. Lynn's on Facebook and Instagram. Lynn, final thoughts for our audience.
I'm just excited. I'm excited for people to start really, truly taking care of themselves. And I think that this isn't easy. And, well, I shouldn't say easy. It is a working book. Digging deep is not always easy, but it's an enjoyable process. And the more that you do, that I do things that bring us joy, the more that we really change the energy of ourselves and our health and our outlook, and the people that we love get to change along with us. And that's really just a beautiful way to do our part of changing not just ourselves, but also the world. So I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely. The energy ripples out, right? And whether it's positive or negative, the energy is rippling out to those we love, those we are in contact with, the world around us. So So we might as well make it as positive and joyful as possible. So 30 days,
Why not?
Right? 30 Days to Me,
Exactly.
a working book to living a serendipitous life by Lynn Reilly. It's available from Sacred Stories Publishing, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere books are sold. So thank you again, Lynn Reilly, for joining us.
Thank you, Patricia.
And thank you for everyone that has joined us listening. I wish you all a serendipitous day. And as always, until next time, remember to write your sacred story well.